Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Wellness Talks with Nirva. I'm your host, Natasha, and today we are focusing on an essential, though often overlooked aspect of our well being, and that's mental health. Before we get started, do not forget to subscribe our channel if you love to know more about different natural ways to take care of yourselves. Also, feel free to comment on your concerns and thoughts. We would love to hear them and help you. On today's episode, we'll cover why mental health is important, if how to identify if you're struggling with mental health problems, and how diet, exercise, meditation, and mindfulness can help you. Joining us today is Dr. Shehnaz, a senior consultant with Nirva. And Dr. Shehnaz, we are thrilled to have your expertise on the show today. So wonderful to have you here.
Thank you, Natasha. It's a pleasure to be here, especially to discuss something, as crucial as mental health.
Absolutely, Dr. Shehnaz. So, from your perspective, why should we give mental health the importance it deserves? And just to add some context for our listeners, according to the World Health Organization, depression is the leading cause of disability worldwide, affecting over 264 million people. Anxiety disorders also affect 3.6% of the global population. To make matters even more pressing, nearly 8 lakh people die by suicide every year. The COVID-19 pandemic has only exacerbated these issues, leading to increased rates of anxiety and depression globally. So clearly, this is a critical issue that warrants our attention. So, why is it so crucial to manage our mental health?
Mental health is not a separate entity, but is deeply interconnected with our physical health. For example, like prolonged stress can lead to conditions like hypertension, diabetes, and even cardiovascular diseases. So this happens because stress activates the body's fight or flight response, leading to a cascade of hormonal changes that, if sustained, can harm the body.
That's very interesting. Could you give us more context?
Yes, Natasha, like in Ayurveda, we have always adopted a holistic approach. So diseases are often attributed to an imbalance in three key elements: the physical constitution, our mental state, and lifestyle choices. So these are so closely woven that ignoring one can cascade into multiple health issues. For instance, like someone with chronic stress, they might develop digestive issues. So stress management therefore becomes a crucial part of the healing process. And it's exciting to see how modern medicine is increasingly recognizing the importance of mental health and its role in overall health. So there is a growing body of research that supports the connection between the mind and body, validating like what Ayurvedic principles have emphasized for centuries. So yes, giving importance to mental health is not just about feeling good mentally, but also about comprehensive well-being, which is why stress management techniques like meditation and yoga are integral parts of Ayurvedic treatment plans.
That's so insightful, Dr. Shehnaz. And, I have read that mental well being in Ayurveda is all about balancing different mental functions like thinking, information processing, and memory.
Yes, like let's break it down further. You know how a well-oiled machine has multiple parts that need to work in harmony for the best performance. The same goes for our mind. Like we have specific mental functions that are crucial for our overall mental health. The first one is the learning department. So this is where your mind takes in new information and helps you to understand it. Imagine it like the reception area of a hotel where new guests, or in this case, like, new information are first welcomed. Then the next is processing department. Here the mind categorizes this new information and sorts it out. It's like the back office that organizes all the data and files, away correctly. Then the next one is memory department. So this function helps you to remember important information. Think of it as the archival room where files you may need later are safely stored. So if any one of these departments in your mind is out of sync, it can lead to what we broadly label as mental health issues. At Nirva, our treatment plans focus on identifying which of these areas need attention and using like natural therapies to get them back on track. So it could be like specific dietary changes or exercises to boost your focus and memory. And what sets it apart is that we also look at how your mind is connected to your overall physical health and lifestyle rather than treating mental health in isolation.
Absolutely. At Nirva, we are all about making you feel amazing, both inside and out. Here, ancient Ayurvedic wisdom meets the calming practice of therapeutic yoga, specifically tailored for you to manage chronic health issues. So, if you're struggling with menopause symptoms, or your gut is not feeling quite right, or maybe your joints are giving you a hard time, we've got your back. Our team at Nirva is a group of certified Ayurveda practitioners, yoga professionals, and the most amazing coaches that you'll ever get to meet. They're here to guide you, support you, and be there with you all throughout your holistic healing journey. And then I mentioned about a wonderful community. There are so many people just like you in the UK and the US, all on their journey to manage their chronic health conditions, aiming for a healthier and happier life. And on top of it is our Nirva retreat. So imagine a serene getaway with detoxing Ayurvedic therapies and personalized yoga sessions that are going to recharge each and every cell of your body, and that too in God's own country, Kerala. So if you are someone who's trying to get rid of your chronic health conditions, please feel free to get in touch with us. We're here to help you out. Now let's get back. Dr. Shahnaz, can you elaborate on how someone could recognize the early symptoms of a problem, specifically mental health issues? I mean, many of our listeners may be wondering if certain habits or feelings they're experiencing are red flags.
Yes. So, when it comes to identifying early signs of mental health issues, paying attention to the following indicators may help. So, when it comes to like emotional signs, persistent sadness or emptiness, like if you're feeling constantly down and you can't pinpoint why you're feeling like that, so this might be a warning sign. Then the next is excessive worry or anxiety. So being worried or anxious to the point that it's affecting your daily life, that is a red flag. And then comes irritability or anger. The frequent bouts of irritability, frustration, or unwarranted anger can also indicate an underlying issue. Now, coming to physical signs, if you're struggling to fall asleep and you wake up frequently in between your sleep or oversleeping, these all should not be overlooked. And when it comes to like unexplained physical symptoms like muscle tension, headaches, digestive problems, these all could be stress induced or related to deeper emotional issues. And then comes the change in appetite or change in weight, overeating, loss of appetite, or significant weight changes. These can also signify stress or emotional disturbance. You may be wondering, why you are eating at the middle of the night when you are not even hungry. These kind of signs can actually help out.
These are just what we feel physically and emotionally, but poor mental health, they can affect a lot more aspects of our lives, isn't it?
Yes, yes. Like there are more signs to look out for. So some cognitive signs like difficulty in focusing. So if you are unable to concentrate on tasks that you used to find very easy, that must be taken note of. And then comes the memory problems, like struggling to remember key details or feeling like, scatterbrained. Those can also be a warning sign. Or you may be getting some racing or intrusive thoughts as well. Now, when it comes to social and behavioral changes, you may find yourself avoiding social events or activities that you used to enjoy before. So, this could indicate a problem. And then comes the changes in your activity levels, like being significantly more or less active than usual. This can also be a cause of concern. And when it comes to interpersonal relationships, so there could be difficulty in personal relationships or feelings of loneliness and isolation. These can also be signs.
Right. But sometimes we think that most of these signs are just normal. I mean, but we really need to look closely at what we feel in every way. So, given that we have discussed a variety of symptoms from both Ayurvedic and modern psychological standpoints, how does Ayurveda suggest that we should proceed when we recognize the signs in ourselves?
Ayurveda places immense importance on balancing your doshas or bioenergies for mental well being. So, for those experiencing restlessness, anxiety, or insomnia, these could be signs of a Vata imbalance. So Vata governs our movement, including the flow of thoughts in our mind. So if you're feeling like, scattered or overwhelmed, consider this as a red flag for taking corrective action. And if you're finding yourself increasingly irritable, impatient, or even indulging in aggressive behavior, you may be dealing with a Pitta imbalance. So Pitta is the dosha of transformation and it governs your emotional metabolism. So a Pitta imbalance often manifests as your short fuse. Lastly, if you're feeling down, emotionally stuck, or have noticed an increase in your food cravings or lethargy, a Kapha imbalance might be at play. So Kapha governs the stability and structure, both in your body and mind. So an imbalance here could mean you're stuck in emotional patterns that don't serve you anymore. So therefore, recognizing these imbalances can be your first step towards holistic healing.
So, Dr. Shahnaz, let's also talk about food. How critical is diet in maintaining both physical and mental balance according to Ayurveda?
In Ayurveda, diet is central to balancing both your physical and mental states. For example, let's specify Vata imbalance, which is often associated with anxiety and restlessness. Ayurveda recommends warm cooked foods like rice and rooted vegetables like sweet potatoes. Also, these kind of complex carbohydrates are known to increase the serotonin levels in the brain, which is a neurotransmitter crucial for mood regulation. So Ayurveda has always emphasized the importance of Agni or digestive fire, for our mental well-being. The spices like ginger, cumin, and fennel, these are often recommended in Ayurvedic diets, which contributes to a healthy digestive system. And the gut is often referred to as the second brain, and imbalances there can lead to mental health symptoms. So there is growing evidence to suggest that a well-balanced gut microbiome can have a positive impact on your mental well-being.
To Dr. Shahnaz. And by the way, for our audience, if you're finding yourself nodding along because you're intrigued by how your gut can influence your mind, we've made another video that you've got to see. It dives deeper into how gut health affects your mental health and vice versa. The link is down there in the description, so don't miss it. So, doctor, one dietary change that someone could start making today from both an Ayurvedic and a modern perspective to positively influence their mental well being.
Hmm. One change that can make a significant difference from both an Ayurvedic and modern perspective is to integrate more sattvic foods into your diet. When I say sattvic foods, they include fruits, vegetables, nuts, and whole grains, which are said to calm the mind and balance your body. So these foods are beneficial for all the three bioenergies which we were discussing about Vata, Pitta, and Kapha. And those make them a universally good choice. And they are rich in essential vitamins, minerals, and fibers, contributing to a healthy gut microbiome as well.
It's mind blowing to see that how the food we eat can have such a profound effect on our mental health. But let's shift gears for a moment. A lot of our listeners are curious about yoga, especially given its rise in popularity. How can integrating yoga into one's routine can help with mental well-being?
The age old wisdom of yoga. What a splendid topic. From the Ayurvedic standpoint, yoga is considered more than just a physical exercise. So it's a holistic discipline that aims to create a balance among body, mind, and soul. So yoga is not just about twisting and bending that we see. It's also about a breath control or pranayama, which directly affects your mental state. And techniques like deep diaphragmatic breathing or alternate nostril breathing. These are potential tools to calm our restless mind, manage stress, and even improve our focus and clarity. And the physiological benefits of yoga are backed by science. Yoga, helps in lowering cortisol levels, the stress hormone, and increases the secretion of endorphins, which are natural mood elevators. So, multiple studies have found that regular yoga practice can be as effective as some medications in treating mental health conditions like depression, anxiety, and post traumatic stress disorders like that.
And finally, let's touch on meditation and mindfulness. With mindfulness becoming a buzzword these days, What are some scientifically backed benefits of modern mindfulness techniques?
Mindfulness is a term that's tossed around so often these days, isn't it? But let's get past the hype and talk science. Modern mindfulness techniques are actually well researched and body of evidence supporting their efficacy is also growing. So mindfulness based cognitive therapy and mindfulness based stress reduction, these are true prominent mindfulness techniques recommended by the National Institute for Health and Care Excellence in the UK. So they have shown compelling results in preventing relapse, in recurrent depression, and managing stress respectively. So these techniques combine our traditional Buddhist mindfulness practices with contemporary psychological methods like cognitive behavioral therapy. And studies have shown that practicing mindfulness can lead to structural changes in the areas of the brain associated with attention, emotion regulation, and memory. And in other words, mindfulness is not just a feel good practice, but also has neuroscientific backing.
Well, that clears up any ambiguity. Science indeed confirms the ancient wisdom behind mindfulness. Well, that Dr. Shahnaz, this has been an incredibly enlightening discussion. I'm sure our listeners have learned a lot today about balancing their body and mind through Ayurvedic and modern techniques. So thank you so much for joining us.
It was my pleasure, Natasha. Thank you so much for having me.
And to our listeners, stay tuned for part two of the series where we'll get into specifics, food routines, yoga poses, and much more. If you found today's episode valuable, don't forget to hit that share button. Spread the knowledge. You never know whose life you might be touching. And if you have questions for Dr. Shehnaz or want to dive deeper into anything that we discussed today, drop your questions in the comment section. We absolutely love hearing from you. And also, don't forget to check out another video on the gut microbiome. The link is in the description box. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Until next time, take care and remember your health is your greatest wealth. Thank you so much.